Hello, I am Prof.Devika Madalli from Documentation Research and Training Center, Indian Statistical Institute, India. I would like to present my paper, Co-Factor Open Citation Measure. Now, talking about measures of scientific productivity, measures such as impact factor and H-index and other indices are used to reflect the impact of scientific publishing and authors' productivity. Such measures of quality are usually linked to commercial published content. The notion of ranked journals rises from counting citations, but there are several studies that show skewed patterns of citing owing to differing scientific culture of different domains, and these are not above manipulations. Quality assurance cycle. Talking about quality assurance of scholarly content, we notice that scholarly content is produced by scholars, academicians, and researchers. Quality assurance is made by peer reviewers who are also scholars, academicians, and researchers. Scholarly content is consumed by scholars, academicians, and researchers. Scholarly content is interpreted and applied, and new findings are reported back to the scientific community by scholars, academicians, and researchers. So the point here is that the entire cycle of the scholarly content, right from its production to its consumption and contribution back to the cycle, revolves around scholars, academicians, and researchers. Hence, it should be made openly available to that community. Coming to the conventional metrics, there are several conventional metrics that have been used over time, but they are not without their pitfalls. Some of the pitfalls are enlisted here. The overall impact of a journal, as quantified by its impact factor, is not a marker of the quality of the individual articles of that journal. Impact factor is highly domain specific and thus is not suited to be used as a standard gauge of research output across domains. It is also plagued by quantitative pitfalls like the number of references attributed or the number of self-citations, which introduces noise in the final calculation of the metric. Impedances like language, visibility, and the length of articles also affect its impact factor. Due to its dependence on the dynamics of specific domains, impact factor might show undue inflation or deflation in its measured value. Also, impact factor cannot be said to be absolutely foolproof, as it can be subject to quantitative manipulation and misrepresentations. Also, literature evidences that there are many measures being considered and applied to gauge quality and productivity in scientific publishing. None of them are perfect. Devising metrics and methodologies towards measuring productivity and impact of scientific content is an ever-emerging domain by itself. Coming to open content, we go by open principles. The two principles are knowledge unto those that produce knowledge, and scholarship is the same, prized or open. The open access movement itself is more than 2 decades old. Open access advocates have worked on different aspects such as enabling environment, which deals with policies and standards for open access articles, advocacy, and such things. Sustenance of the open model through APCs, maybe through gold route, diamond route, through something like Planis that has come forward now. The other thing they worked on extensively is technology for open access using OSS, open source software, and repositories for people to do green open access and deposit their own content into repositories. The other aspect, important one, is the legal provisions giving licenses like the General Public License or Creative Commons license for content. DORA declaration is one step towards moving away from conventional metrics. But in general, the OA movement does not emphasize on developing metrics to establish quality of content. So it is on these premise that we propose the open content metrics. Open content metrics are defined as measures of impact and quality of open content. OCMs are meant to encompass all measures that establish productivity, quality, use, and reuse of open content. Also, we like to introduce the concept of open authors. Open authors are authors who publish their scholarly work in open access journals. Now, why OCMs? Why open content metrics? Metrics such as IF and H index have been used as measures of quality and scientific productivity over time. However, these metrics have been associated mainly with commercial journals and citations in ranked journals. Open content is deemed as being of poor quality. Open content metrics are required to establish credibility, quality, and as a means of value proposition for authors contributing to open content. So we introduce O factor, which is an open to open citation factor. O factor is derived by computing citations received by an open access journal. O factor for an open access journal is defined as the total number of citations received by articles in the journal by open authors divided by the total number of articles published in that open access journal in the preceding 2 years of its publication. So, computation, first of all, data collection. To validate our concept, we have considered the Open Access Journal, Journal of Medical Library Association, JMLA, from the Directory of Open Access Journals, DOAJ. This title is a random selection and with an aim to validate our idea and illustrate O-factor calculation as one of the measures within OCMs to establish impact of open content. To collect citation-related information, the search string Journal of Medical Library Association was used. The data sets are restricted to the years 2016 and 17 because we are trying to find the impact factor and O factor for the year 2018. Based on the above query, 142 articles were retrieved from Scopus for the years 2016-2017. Our study only considers 5 elements: article title, year of publication, source of the article, cited by OA journals. The data looks something like this. So computation. In a given year Y, OF of an OA journal is computed as OFY is equal to CY minus 1 plus CY minus 2 by PY minus 1 plus PY minus 2, where OF is the open impact factor, Y is the year for which the open impact factor is calculated, C are the citations received, P is the total number of publications in the journal in a given year, Y minus 1 and Y minus 2, etc. In our illustration for JMLA, we found that the total number of citations received in the years 2016 and 17 are 311. The total number of articles published in the year in those years 2016-2017 are 142. Hence, the IF works out to be 2.19. Finding O factor for the same journal 2018. OF 2018 is C 2017 plus C 2016 by P 2017 plus 2P 2016, where again OF is the open factor, Y is the year for which the open factor is calculated, that is 2018. Citation C is the citation received from open access journals only, which is 107, and P equal to total number of publications in the journal in the year 2016-2017, which is 142. So the OF works out to be 0.75. So from this kind of data collection and analysis, we found that the IF is 2.19, OF is 0.75. The result shows that IF is more than OF, and if we consider the total number of citations received from open access journals, it was around 36% of the total number of citations received from all journals. Discussion. This effort is only to introduce the concept of OCMs and in particular O factor as a measure for establishing impact of open content. We are very much aware of the challenges because open access content is still very unorganized for metric studies in the sense that there are no citation databases and methodologies to track open content citations. For example, we use Scopus and there is no particular indication in Scopus what is a citation of an open journal article and what is a citation of a non-open access journal. Such information or indicators are at the moment absent. So it takes manual effort to identify which open access journals and authors have gained citations and whether the citation is referring to openly published content or commercial content. Significance. To establish the worth of open content and encourage authors to consider being open authors, it is necessary to establish measures that work as indicators for their productivity. There is a need for building open citation indices to track open content citations. A foray of services can be offered to open authors based on open citation indices and open citation databases. There is an urgent need to offer the right value proposition to authors to be open authors, and OCMs are a means to do exactly that. Thank you very much. That is my contact. I'll be very happy to take any queries that you may have on my email. Thank you for your patience.